Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we almost always kick out at 2.
Ooh.
We are your hosts. I am the Machiavellian, you know what, I'm too tired for this right now, Joey Business. My tongue, I'm lucky it works. And of course, I'm flanked by my cohort. He used to be the artist known as Donnie Wonderful, but now, due to events that occurred off camera that you will be privy to, he is now Big Time Donnie.
Big time? I like that.
Yeah,
Big
Time Donnie. You've graduated, my friend. So, so what we're supposed to be doing is talking all about WrestleMania Backlash. And it occurred basically in our backyard, Providence, Rhode Island, which is right near where I am, Taunton, Massachusetts. I almost said Taunton, Rhode Island. And, not too far from Donnie. It's in our backyard. It's close enough.
About 15 minutes for you, about 35 for me?
About 20 minutes for me, and probably about 45 for you. But still close, relatively. And I wish we could tell you about the whole show. It feels like a fever dream, most of it, and we'll explain why. So we are big, huge fans of First We Feast's YouTube channel. Sean Evans, the Hot Ones.
Yes,
and
this is likely, but this should be a joint venture at this point because
yeah. So
please give them the backstory.
Donnie has done Hot Ones. He hasn't done Hot Ones.
Not the show.
Confuse it. Not the show.
Sean, I would love to do the show.
He tried the most, the prolific hot sauce that's on the show, the one they're known for, the one that just brings all the gotcha moments. It's called Da Bomb. Beyond Insanity, looking at this evil fucking bottle right now. And so I decided, in my infinite wisdom, when we were out having, a bite to eat a couple months ago, I said, hey, I'd like to try it. I've always wanted to try it.
Yep.
And I figured, let's just go for the grail. Forget the other stuff. I just want to go to the one. And so he said, you sure? I said, absolutely. I consider myself decent spice palate, and I can handle a lot of heat and pain and whatnot.
We all claim we do until we're presented
until right now.
Spicy shit.
So I still feel it, but not the way it was. So the show started at 8:00. We did Da Bomb. What match did we do it on? We did it Omos and Bobby, right?
No.
We did it after AJ and Edge. We did it between AJ and Edge and Ronda and Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that the second half of the show is going to be like, I think we blacked out for some of it.
The second half of the show is going to be as if we're recovering from an acid trip.
Exactly.
Or not to make light of
you guys who drop acid, but
literally like the last half of that show or the last quarter of that show was just a blur. I mean, we're literally recovering from the bomb beyond insanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
So, I know we're a wrestling show, but we're going to talk about everything because this was part of it. And
this is all real time.
Yeah, this was real time.
You get us. And besides, if you're new, if you're new to the channel, thank you for listening to us. If you're a returning supporter, thank you for coming back. But you guys know we're the Tangential Tyrants.
We are the Tangential Tyrants. So we traverse everything in the wrestling/entertainment multiverse, which is a good way to put it. And this would cross over into that horrible universe of pain. And basically, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some wrestling news and some thoughts and whatnot. But we'll give you enough of a show to kind of bite your teeth into, which you do not want to do if you ever do this challenge. It started that way. I didn't want to do it the first match because, one, Donnie wasn't here the first match, and then I was going to pick, the piss break match, which would have been Omos and Bobby. But for some reason, we were trying to prep, and I was doing a lot of preamble, and I think I was kind of dodging the bomb a little bit. Just to give you a little bit of background, I actually picked up a hot sauce today from a local vendor, Chelsea Fire Wicked Hot Sauce. So this is from a fire department in Chelsea, Mass.
Oh, wow.
And they claim it is wicked hot. It is hot. I actually took a couple swigs of it to kind of just
swigs.
Yeah, I did.
But you would not swig the bomb beyond insanity.
Fucking way. I like my life. So I figured I'd coat my mouth. I'd kind of do a little bit of prep. I watched Hot Ones. I am a big fan. I've seen almost every episode. But what you see on TV sometimes leads a little bit of questioning. You
But
go,
even-
are they playing it for the camera? Are they?
Even the guests usually say, and they usually concede that, whoa, this is for real. This
Right.
isn't acting.
Right. I watched Shia LaBeouf's today, and he was like, dude, he goes, this shit is for real. Because he was taking it like a champ all the way to the bomb. And then he got to the bomb, and he goes, oh, fuck. He's like, that's for real. And he was the one who cried the tear and let it roll down his cheek. And he's like, he goes, Sean, I'll be honest with you. I thought there was a point where possibly you were just filling tomato sauce in jars and fooling people. He's like, there is no fucking joke here.
Right.
And like, so, and then I watched everyone. Shaquille O'Neal, he's probably one of the most famous ones.
Of course.
When he was like, Kansas City can't do hot wings.
He's like, Kansas, I apologize, Kansas.
Yeah. He like, his is the most classic reaction of all time. Billie Eilish was doing laps around the table, and Scarlett Johansson was power walking, threatening to fire people.
Tyra Banks had to take ice cream.
Yep.
Holly Berry's was good.
Yep. Gordon Ramsay is probably my favorite just because of the reaction. So I watched him, and I said, okay, let's not do what Gordon does. And he had Pepto-Bismol. He had all kinds of things. He had a donut. He had all this. He came prepared with like a Santa sack. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just try a few things. I knew water wasn't going to work because I've had instances in back, I've done ghost peppers and shit like that, and water just makes it's like you light a match. So then I had milk, and I figured milk would possibly work. But in my infinite wisdom, it has never been tried. I dare any Hot Ones person to tell me that this has been tried before.
An innovative alert.
What
did you bring
I
to the
grabbed
table?
a butcher's block dill pickle from a Jewish deli. And I love pickles. I'm a huge fan of them, but it's only butcher's block. It's my only favorite pickle. It's the best pickle on earth. So I said, there might be something in the pickle because I've seen people use lemon, lime, and things like that to kind of subside it. So I said, maybe the pickle might have that kind of a quelling effect. So I didn't know. I just knew I didn't think it would make it worse. So I said, okay. So leading up to it, Donnie filmed this, and this will be on our actual YouTube channel, even though it's not wrestling, but you can see it. It's entertaining.
Yes.
And you'll see our faces. You'll see us.
Mainly
mainly
yours.
me just bitching for a while. Hey, I tied it in. I made some wrestling references. But I wish we played Brock Lesnar's music right before I bit into it, because that is it. Here comes the pain. That's all I can describe. If anyone wants to do this hot sauce, if anyone wants to think, I can take this, all I'm going to tell you is there is zero taste. There is heat, but you won't know the heat. It's just pain.
Yeah, exactly. You said it tastes like pain. I said, I don't know what pain tastes like.
It's just pain. It feels like someone operated on my mouth while it was in there, and I was recovering from an operation, and it wouldn't stop. But the only thing I could say is, like, this thing came and go like a roller coaster.
Yes.
It went up and down.
This was your first time. This was my
Third.
third and fourth.
Yeah, Donnie did it twice.
Yeah, I
Crazy
did it
bastard.
twice. Hey, listen, I just got just a glutton for pain. But so what happens is, like you bite into it, and I have no idea how it got on my lips again. But like you bite into it, and then it kicks.
Immediately.
And the pain is there, and that pain is there to stay. So whatever you try to do, whether it's milk or the dill pickle, I had ice cubes here.
Yeah, you had root beer too.
Yeah, I decided, all right, let me try a caffeinated beverage just to try to clash with the spice that was going on there. Because essentially, like spice doesn't have anything hot doesn't have a flavor. That's literally your taste buds burning.
Oh my god!
So like I was trying to offset that, and it worked until I finished chewing the pickle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or the first time I did the whole Shaq thing. I had a half gallon of milk.
Yeah.
Like I would swig the milk, I'm good. But then the moment I swallowed the milk, the pain is like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm here.
It's like,
and
I'm here,
gonna
bitch.
stay here.
I'm right here, bitch.
And I guess like Sean Evans should really get a T-shirt. I said this off camera. Sean Evans should really get a T-shirt that says "Careful around the eyes." So I figured this out as I'm twisting the knob back on the hot sauce.
Yep.
That's how I got the hot sauce on my fingers. And I went to take my eye drops, and that's how I got it in my eye.
Dude, that was the one thing I was most careful of. I was like, I don't want this to get in my eyes, or I don't want it to get in my nostril, or anything like that. Like I had a game plan, because I'm like, why don't these people just bite it fast and tear the meat off the bone without it getting on your lips because you use your teeth? in theory, you use your teeth. It doesn't matter. The moment you bite and pull the meat, it somehow permeates into your lips. And it got into every crack I have. And so it just made the pain even worse. And what was horrible was...
Sounds like an X-rated video.
What was horrible, the worst part is, you still got to chew this motherfucker.
Oh, man.
So, like, it's in there. It doesn't wait till you chew. It's like the moment it gets in your gullet, it's there.
It's there.
And it lights under you, and it's endless.
It's like I'm
Donnie
here
said,
for the long haul.
Yeah.
I have my 12-month rent paid.
Yep.
I'm there. Hey, you're not evicting me.
Yeah. No, we clocked it, for me at least, the worst part of it. I mean, it stayed a little longer, but the worst part, to the point where it was manageable, where I wasn't like, can I get off this ride, was 15 minutes flat. Like full 15 minutes without any relief, no matter what I did. I mean, I bit into the pickle at one point. That was, to me, the only thing that actually gave me relief. Now, I don't know if it was the pickle itself or it was the act of chewing something cold. I'm not sure, but I used the pickle like lip gloss at one point, and you'll see it.
You'll see it.
Whatever I tried, it did not work. There is no overreacting. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. It would have to take an extreme circumstance or me to want to see somebody else suffer to do this again.
And that's where I step in. Pure peer pressure.
Yeah.
I own the bottle. So, you know, I plan on actually endorsing this thing.
You could have this bottle for 10,000 years. It will be this and the cockroaches, because you will never go through this bottle.
To the moon. Oh, absolutely not.
Never.
Absolutely not. This bottle will remain in my refrigerator. It's going to basically be refrigerated decorum, because there's no way. As a matter of fact, it's kind of significantly
it's near the label now.
It's near the label.
The top of the label.
We only did like
yeah,
3
it's
dabs.
very deceptive. Like, you only do a dab, but the dab was enough. I think I brazenly did a dab a little bit more than I should have, but that's fine. I've experienced it now, and I can speak about it. I will say this: anybody who wants to try this, just proceed with caution. If you're not a hot sauce guy, if you don't have a tolerance, don't do this at all. It's not worth your time. If you do and you want to experiment and you want to just kind of push your limit, try it. But for me, I got a different reaction than Donnie. At some point, I actually got it in my chest. Like, my heart rate was super elevated. Wow. I could feel it going boom, 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 boom. So that worried me. So if people who has,
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to pull a full Ben Stiller and Starsky and Hutch and just tell you to do it. Or just like Nike. Just do it. Do it. Don't think twice.
I would like our
just
subscribers to go up and not lose them to death. But anyways, you're here for wrestling. That was our little tangent in the front. Give you a little bit of backstory to fill in, why we may not be so coherent on all this stuff. So WrestleMania Backlash, essentially the follow-up to WWE's WrestleMania, which they do every year. No secret, I hate the name. It's a stupid name. It used to be just Backlash. I hated that name too. But you could have called it like Rewind or something. I don't know. But anyways.
Oh, you could have called it, well, back in the 90s in the New Generation era, this was a tour. It was the WrestleMania Revenge tour. Yeah. Where, it would be the I guess the round twos of some of the best matches in that occurred at WrestleMania. Yeah. And just to pull a quick a nostalgic moment.
1999 Providence?
No, 1994. 1994. It was still the Boston Garden then.
Oh, okay.
The main event of the WrestleMania Revenge tour was, take a guess.
I don't know.
This is from WrestleMania 10.
WrestleMania 10. So obviously it would be, the main event?
The main event of the WrestleMania Revenge tour.
Would it be Bret Owen?
Yes. Bret Owen, and that match was great with Bret going over to a schoolboy.
Okay, yep, which is great.
Which is great, but I'll never forget watching that and saying, man, if the world seen this with what they did in the Boston Garden, like with Bret going over this time. Now they've had other matches where Bret went over, but I just always thought that that WrestleMania Revenge match was great recompense for Bret for losing the opener to his brother Owen.
He lost the opener in a great call, a really good match, a classic match. I rewatched that like a month ago actually. Right before was it a month ago? Yeah, whatever. Right before WrestleMania, I watched it.
About a month ago,
and it was good. It's always good. Bret is amazing. He's textbook. I mean, he's not my favorite wrestler of all time.
He's my favorite wrestler of all time.
He's unequivocally Donnie's, and I'm sorry for the the indigestion and the burping, I think it's still the bomb, like trying to make a comeback. But anyway, so it opened up with, undoubtedly, in my view, the banger of WrestleMania this year, which was a rematch between Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, and Seth freaking Rollins. And just to, preface this, their WrestleMania match was just almost perfection. It clicked on all cylinders. They had so much chemistry. Cody got the pop of the pops that you would hope he would get.
Yeah, right.
I was worried that there was going to be a divided crowd or maybe even crickets or whatever. It definitely helps that he kept the American Nightmare gimmick. I don't think they could have brought him in any other way. It helps that
he kept the music as well.
The music is just amazing. It's my favorite wrestling theme right now.
Wow,
by far.
Even over Judas?
Oh, yeah, I think over Judas.
Wow.
It is over Judas.
Even over Punk?
I listened to Cult of Personality in my car the other day. It's there. It's really up there. I'd have to get back to you on that.
Wow.
But so, and I don't like Seth Rollins' remix, but it suits his character. But anyways, that was a banger.
Okay.
It was an amazing match at WrestleMania. So I was like, okay, I guess they want to prove, is this a fluke? Was it, goggles that Cody came back and it's just, you're excited and whatever. Can they do it again?
Yeah, you're going to have to take the lead on this one. I'm going to ask more follow-up questions because I missed the first, 15?
You missed the first 10 minutes, I'd say. Okay. 10, 15. Nah, it's 10 minutes. So anyways, I didn't know what they were going to do. And the WrestleMania match, if anyone's seen it, if they haven't, they should. It was the highlight of WrestleMania Night 1. Yep. So anyone who's seen it, there was counter for counters in that WrestleMania match. They broke out all the big stops. Cody did, 3 crossroads. He broke out all his, signature stuff from AEW when he's in his biggest matches. Seth the same. And it was a story of he got a one-up on Seth because Seth wasn't prepared for Cody to show, even though if he ever read the dirt sheets, he would know Cody's show, but whatever. So, you just have to suspend disbelief. So tonight I'm like, okay, how are they going to go about this? Can't have a mirror for mirror same match. They have wrestled each other since WrestleMania on Raw here and there. I'm like, okay, is it going to be the same? Is the crowd going to be hot? The crowd was hot, but it started with almost a mirror of the beginning of WrestleMania match, the sequence, and then Cody dropped down to do that Goldust slap, and Seth grabbed his hand and goes, and blocked it. So then Cody went for another move. They went back off the ropes, and Seth was like, Mr. Nightmare. He's like, I'm in your head this time. And
so he's a lot of counters.
Yeah, a ton of counters to start. Nice. And what was cool was the announcers picked this up too. Like Corey Graves is spectacular at little things and adding details to make it more vibrant and more relevant. So he was like, you could tell that Seth studied for this match, and Cody's not going to have a one-up, and it's almost like Cody's getting frustrated. And Cody did a great job with his facial expressions of visibly selling the frustration. And so Seth was getting him at every single turn.
Oh, nice. They actually presented this like a wrestling contest.
They told a great story, but they also had breaks and stuff too. So like they did the whole, old school wrestling thing where you, do whatever, like, I'm trying to say what it is. It's a Greco-Roman thing where you circle on the ground and then you slap the back of the head. So Seth did that to Cody and embarrassed him. And that was when Cody lost it and just went from being, a wrestling match to Cody popped him in the face with a right and then got him in the corner and just started laying into him and whatnot. Seth started getting quick and it was going back and forth. It never lost
emotion.
It never
psychology.
It was very psychological. It never lost its pace. It didn't get stagnant at all. And it was a brave choice for the opener because arguably if it went right, it could be the banger of the night. And now you're going to blow your load at the very beginning of the pay-per-view.
Let me ask you this, and I know we're still kind of in the beginning of the match because I think I'm walking in just around that time.
Yeah.
Would this match have survived on a great card in the Attitude Era?
This match?
This one. Not the WrestleMania. This one. Would it fit on a classic pay-per-view in the Attitude Era?
It would have been one of the beginning matches of the pay-per-view, I feel. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it would have been, like, their WrestleMania match would have survived the Attitude Era for sure. I consider that the match of the year so far. So it all worked and whatnot. Cody is brilliant. I mean, I've always been a fan of him, even back to not the very beginning. I didn't like him at the very beginning when he was bland and generic, but when he made the step from dashing Cody Rhodes to undashing Cody Rhodes when he was able to show his creativity with the clear mask and psychologically say he's disfigured and whatever. That's when he won me over, especially
2010.
When he
26.
when he brought back the IC title, the classic IC title. That's when he won me over, and I've been following him since. And then when he left WWE to hit the indie scene, when he won the ROH title, that was a big mark-out moment for me because I always thought Cody could have been a world champion, the WWE world champion, but not the WWE champion. So if you remember, him and Sandow had that war over the briefcase and whatever, and I thought Cody should have went over and got the push to get the world title like Ziggler did. But the problem was Sandow got the win, and they didn't do shit with it anyway because Cena squashed him on a SmackDown and it was pointless. But so Cody's always had potential, but he's always been a perennial mid-card guy. Seth Rollins, the story here is Seth's been to the top, and he stayed at the top.
Yeah.
He, with or without the title, Seth is a marquee guy on any card all the time. And he's been champion multiple times. So, like, he doesn't need it. Cody is here to validate himself. This is probably his very best shot. He's in the prime of his career, as he said on Broken Skulls. Prime of your career in wrestling, and Austin agreed, is like 36 to like 42. And he's in that right now. He's in that right now. And so this is going to be his best shot, his best body of work. He's going to put the most effort in. And he has. So far, everything I've seen from him, promos, everything, presentation, is stellar. I think they have to pull the trigger on him quicker than later because I don't think this love fest with him is going to stick too long.
It will if he's having the best matches on the card.
He needs more than the best matches.
Because, I mean, and that was I know we had the distraction from the hot sauce, but I was still somewhat mindful. I didn't see anything else on this pay-per-view tonight that can surpass that.
No, it didn't, and nothing else surpassed it, and that's saying a lot. But I'll be honest, this card wasn't a knockout card. Like, it didn't have Becky, it didn't have Bianca, it didn't have a lot of the heavy hitters.
That's true.
So this was kind of like a really amped up house show, like a good paced house show is what it was. But it's in Providence always gets this when they have a pay-per-view. They never have a stellar card. They have a couple matches and then a bunch of filler. And, so that's fine. But getting back to the match, it was a frustration level. And they painted the best picture they could because they couldn't go out and top the WrestleMania match. And I think they both knew that. But what they could do is tell you a good story that you could get lost in.
So it was essentially Rocky 2.
Yeah. And now WWE wrestling logic and booking logic would tell you, okay, Cody got Mania. Seth's going to get Backlash. That didn't happen. Cody took both.
Now, when I walked in, I know I caught I want to say a good half of the match. Yeah. The later half, and you can see the chemistry between the two. Do you remember the pairing I said that they were?
Yeah, Brett and Sean.
Like
I would agree with that.
Cody and Seth, and really have to tip my hat off to Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins really, whether it's Seth and Roman at Rumble.
Yep.
God, like Seth just matches up well with
Seth
anybody.
And Cena had some of the best matches.
And Cena. Seth and Brock was
great.
Was the most entertaining
yeah
rivalry I've seen Brock Lesnar in that didn't have anything to do with the Undertaker because that was pretty damn good too. But yes, Seth Rollins definitely deserves some praise and high honor for how good he actually is.
And kudos to WWE, and maybe Cody had this input, but there's so much meat on the bone, and I'm using bone metaphors for food because I'm still probably thinking about the hot sauce. But no, there's so much meat on the bone because there's the layers to this where like Seth was Dusty's guy. Seth was Dusty's appointed one in FCW/NXT. Cody was overlooked in WWE at that time. Cody was on the main roster, and all people were doing was talking about Seth Rollins. And you'll hear Cody talk about that in interviews and whatnot, that there was a true animosity. Here he is, his dad's son, and he's getting the shaft, essentially, playing Stardust. And you got Seth Rollins coming up the ladder, and he's holding his own. So there's that real-life chemistry and, urge to pull the best out of each other, if not.
But that was more so because of creative.
It was creative. It wasn't, but Dusty was part of creative, so there was an issue there.
Oh.
And Dusty was more of like a, he's going to make Cody earn it the hard way type of thing. And so Cody went and he's done everything. He did the Drew McIntyre route where he went elsewhere and came back a star. And I think that is a big formula for a lot of these guys. Bobby Lashley did it. And it's like, if you can't make it your first run, you get out, you go prove yourself and come back. Cody's done that. I have said Cody's a main eventer. I thought he was, if he wasn't the main guy in AEW, I thought he should have been number 2. But the fans didn't see it that way. Once they put him with Aleister Black, or Malachi Black rather now, they kind of turned on him. And then Creative and Tony Khan and everyone just said, okay, yeah, you're on the card, but you're not our guy anymore.
But then again, like I thought Cody was kind of in a convoluted mess of... were they a faction, the Nightmare Family?
You're right.
Nobody's gonna boo Arn, but they booed the hell out of Brandy.
They booed the shit out of Brandy and Cody every time they were on screen.
And I thought that was mainly more so because, not even because I think some of the gripes that I would hear
like
is
an
that
authority role.
Yeah, they wanted him here, and he was going off and he was doing reality television, which I didn't think that was bad. I mean, if you have an executive vice president doing other things and doing other joint ventures, it definitely brings more awareness and more buzz to AEW. So I didn't think that was bad. But then he would come back and what? I know he was the TNT champion a few times.
He was the TNT champion, I think, 3 times.
2 or 3 times, whatever the case may be.
I think he's 3 times. He
came back, gave us a good match with
great matches with Sammy Guevara.
With Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
I guess was the gripe on him and why people didn't like him was because he wasn't full time.
I don't know what it was. I think it was more of a, hey, you have a behind the scenes thing. It's the stroke Triple H Jarrett type of situation where you're going to book yourself to go over. But he didn't. He should have been AEW champion at some point in that run, but he didn't. He stuck to his guns and kept himself out of the AEW title, which I thought people should respect. I sure as hell did. But they didn't. And now it's funny to see those same fans that were so fickle towards him just accepting of him, because there's a lot of cross-pollination where people watch both shows.
Like us, because we are the know. Right. But trust me, the AEW fan base and the WWE fan base are night and day.
They are, but so I've always had my things split because I love wrestling, period. I don't care if Burger King puts it on. I love wrestling if it's done well. So I don't just go, well, I'm a WWE guy, I'm not going to watch any other show. Because the best time in wrestling was WWE versus WCW, when you had the option to flip channels and whatnot back in the channel flipping day. So this kind of reinvigorated that with Cody and Seth and, AEW and WWE.
But I also but the reason why we were so enthralled with what AEW was doing is because we were tired of what WWE were giving us. So that basically puts the two fan bases in a clash.
Yeah, I know. But he is being extremely well accepted. I thought the WrestleMania pop and the night after pop was humongous, and it was. And I was like, okay, when's it going to fade? Because I figured Cody Rhodes is going to be able to sustain this in a WWE ring. So far, even tonight, he got a really big pop. The pop is there. The interest is there. I feel like the timing is now. I know in my heart, and you know me, I'm a Roman Reigns guy in this iteration. I know in my heart the long burn is to get Roman to Mania next year against Dwayne. I know that's the burn. But my thinking is, I don't think it's going to sustain the way that they want. You could feel people getting tired of Roman. Yes, he'll pull out amazing matches. But how long is that going to last? I mean, we're going to be talking almost 3 years by the time Mania rolls around. Now, I love long title reigns. I just think either that match doesn't need a title between The Rock and Roman, it's just family supremacy or whatever, or Cody gets it in the interim for like a 6-month run and then drops it to Roman again. Roman takes a hiatus, though. You can't have Roman on the card while Cody's with it, because otherwise, arguably, I can't see him on top like that. No. But I think the best vehicle... Seth was the wind-up to get him in the ring, get him the tune-up, get you to see him in the ring and see what he's capable of. Now I think it's get Cody to be in the Money in the Bank win the Money in the Bank,
No.
get the title through Money in the Bank.
No. Cody at this rate, at this rate, rather, you know, Cody's the guy that wins the Royal Rumble.
Oh, I don't think he'll sustain to the Royal Rumble.
Cody's the guy that wins the Royal Rumble, where it's clear and obvious he's wrestling for one of the belts. Because I do feel like
they're gonna split it again.
Yeah, they definitely will split. It's the safest thing to do.
They're gonna split it again.
Well, what did you rank the match?
Oh, I ranked the match a 3.5. Same thing I ranked. Well, the Mania match I ranked a 4, I believe. But no, we didn't do a Mania show. I would have ranked it a 4. So this gets a 3.5, and you know that's
3 count 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Goes over the 3.
Yep. Because it's next level, and yeah, it was a dangerous way to open up the card because it's like, oh, you can only go down from here. So, but I stand by it. I can't give it anything less. You gave it a 3.
Yeah, I'm basically just mirroring off of because I was gonna go below or a point below.
You should rewatch it
for what because I didn't see the whole thing.
You didn't see the whole thing, but what you saw, you liked. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff. There was indie mixed with old school wrestling, and Seth always brings it. But what I saw was great, like the top rope reverse Falcon Arrow into the crossroads was amazing. Like that was great psychology.
The sequences were really good, and I remember us joking or me joking, saying, "You know what? They're gonna have to put on somebody slower to follow this."
And sure enough, they did.
What was next, Joey?
Oh, we just continuously go through?
Yeah, we just continuously go through.
Okay, so what was next? Usually we cut. That's why I figured we were segmenting. We spent a lot of time on Cody and Seth, so my apologies. But
that's a good idea. Let's actually cut it. Hold on. That'll make it easier.